This is an abridged reading of Creating Affluence, Wealth Consciousness in the Field of All Possibilities by Deepak Chopra. The Source of All Abundance. Affluence is the experience in which our needs are easily met and our desires spontaneously fulfilled. We feel joy, health, happiness, and vitality in every moment of our existence. Affluence is reality, and the true purpose of this book is to give us an insight into the nature of reality. When we are grounded in the nature of reality, and we also know that this same reality is our own nature, then we realize that we can create anything, because all of material creation has the same origin. Nature goes to the same place to create a cluster of nebulas, a galaxy of stars, a rainforest, or a human body as it goes to create a thought. All of material creation, everything that we can see, touch, hear, taste, or smell, is made from the same stuff and comes from the same source. Experiential knowledge of this fact gives us the ability to fulfill any desire we have, acquire any material object we want, and experience fulfillment and happiness to any extent we aspire. The principles expressed in this book relate specifically to the creation of unlimited material wealth. But these principles can be applied to fulfill any desire, because they are the same principles that nature uses to create material reality out of a non-material essence. All of our experiences of joy and sorrow, of success and failure, of wealth and poverty, are events seemingly happening to us, but at very primordial levels, we are making them happen. The impulses of energy and information that create our life experiences are reflected in our attitudes towards life. And our attitudes are an outcome of and expressions of self-engendered impulses of energy and information. The A to Z steps to creating affluence. What then are the states of awareness, the information and energy states that give rise to the experience of wealth in our lives? For the sake of convenience and to make it easy to remember, I have listed them in order as the A to Z steps to creating affluence. In my experience, it is not necessary to consciously practice the attitudes I am about to describe in order to materialize wealth. Using effort to consciously practice an attitude or to cultivate a mood is unnecessary and can cause stress and strain. It is important only that we know what these A to Z attitudes are, that we know what the steps are, that we be aware of them. The more we become aware of them, the more this knowledge gets structured in our consciousness and awareness. Then it is more likely that our attitude and behavior will change spontaneously without any effort on our part. Knowledge has organizing power inherent in it. It is simply enough to know, to be aware of the principles. The knowledge will be processed and metabolized by our bodies, and the results will be spontaneous. The results do not occur overnight, but begin to manifest gradually over a period of time. If you listen to this list once a day, then you will see the changes that happen spontaneously in your life and the effortless ease with which wealth and affluence come into your life. And with no further ado, here are the A to Z steps to creating affluence. A. A stands for all possibilities, absolute, authority, affluence, and abundance. The true nature of our ground state and that of the universe is that it is a field of all possibilities. In our most primordial form, we are a field of all possibilities. From this level, it is possible to create anything. This field is our own essential nature. It is our inner self. It is also called the Absolute, and it is the ultimate authority. It is intrinsically affluent because it gives rise to the infinite diversity and abundance of the universe. B. B stands for better and best. Evolution implies getting better and better in every way with time, ultimately getting for ourselves the best of everything. People with wealth consciousness settle only for the best. This is also called the principle of highest first. Go first class all the way, and the universe will respond by giving you the best. C. C stands for carefreeness and charity. $1 billion in the bank without the experience of carefreeness and charity is a state of poverty. Wealth consciousness, by definition, is a state of mind. If you are constantly concerned about how much money you need, then irrespective of the actual dollar amount you have in your account, you are really poor. Carefreeness automatically leads to charity and sharing because the source from which it comes is infinite, unbounded, and inexhaustible. D. D stands for the law of demand and supply. Whatever service you are here to give, there is a demand for it. Ask yourself, how may I serve, and how can I help? The answers are within you. When you find those answers, you will also see and know that there is a demand for your service. D also stands for Dharma. Each of us has a Dharma, a purpose in life. When we are in Dharma, we enjoy and love our work. E. E stands for exulting in the success of others, especially your competitors and those you consider themselves your enemies. Your competitors and your enemies will become your helpers when you exult in their success. E also stands for the principle that expectancy determines outcome. So always expect the best, and you'll see that the outcome is spontaneously contained in the expectation. F. F stands for the fact that in every failure is the seed of success. In the manifestation of the material from the non-material, of the visible from the invisible, a fundamental mechanics is involved. This is the principle of feedback. Our failures are stepping stones in the mechanics of creation, bringing us ever closer to our goals. In reality, there is no such thing as failure. What we call failure is just a mechanism through which we can learn to do things right. G. G stands for gratitude, generosity, God, gap, and goal. Gratitude and generosity are natural attributes of an affluent consciousness. Since the only thing to go after is the best, the principle of the highest first, why not adopt God as the role model? After all, no one is more affluent than God, for God is the field of all possibilities. There is a precise mechanism through which all desires can be manifested. Step 1. You slip into the gap between thoughts. The gap is the window, the corridor, the transformational vortex through which the personal psyche communicates with the cosmic psyche. Step 2. You have a clear intention of a clear goal in the gap. Step 3. You relinquish your attachment to the outcome because chasing the outcome or getting attached to it entails coming out of the gap. Step 4. You let the universe handle the details. It is important to have a clear goal in your awareness, but it is also important to relinquish your attachment to the goal. And the goal is in the gap, and the gap is the potentiality to organize and orchestrate the details required to affect any outcome. Perhaps you were trying to recall an instant when you were trying to remember a name, and you struggled and struggled, but with no success. Finally, you let go of your attachment to the outcome, and then a little while later the name flashed across the screen of your consciousness. This is the mechanics for the fulfillment of any desire. When you were struggling to recall the name, the mind was very active and turbulent. But ultimately, out of fatigue and frustration, you let go and the mind became quiet and slowly quieter, perhaps so quiet that it was almost still, and you slipped into the gap where you released your desire, and soon it was handed to you. This is the true meaning of ask and you shall receive, or knock and the door shall be opened to you. One of the easiest and most effortless ways of slipping into the gap is through the process of meditation. And there are many forms of meditation and prayer that can help us to manifest desires from the level of that gap. H stands for happiness and humanity, and the fact that we are here to make all humans we come into contact with happy. Life naturally evolves in the direction of happiness. We must constantly ask ourselves if what we are doing is going to make us and those around us happy, because happiness is the ultimate goal. It is the goal of all other goals. When we seek money, or a good relationship, or a great job, what we were really seeking is happiness. The mistake we make is not going for happiness first. If we did, everything else would follow. I. I stands for the power of unbending intent or intention. It is to make an unchangeable decision from which it is impossible to go back. It is single-mindedness of purpose. It is a well-defined purpose not countermanded by any other conflicting desires or interests. In order to acquire wealth, or for that matter, anything in the physical universe, you must intend it, make a decision to go for it. The decision is unchangeable with fixity of purpose, not countermanded by anything. The universe handles the details, organizes and orchestrates opportunities. You have simply to be alert to these opportunities. J. J stands for the fact that it is not necessary to judge. When we relinquish our need to constantly classify things as good or bad, right or wrong, then we experience more silence in our consciousness. Our internal dialogue begins to quiet when we shed the burden of judgment, and it is then easier to access the gap. It is important, therefore, to get away from definitions, labels, descriptions, interpretations, evaluations, analysis, and judgment, for all of these create the turbulence of our internal dialogue. K. K stands for the fact that organizing power is inherent in knowledge. Knowledge of any kind gets metabolized spontaneously and brings about a change in awareness from where it is possible to create new realities. For example, becoming familiar with the knowledge in this book will spontaneously create the conditions for wealth and affluence. L. L stands for love and luxury. Love yourself. Love your customers. Love your family. Love everybody. Love the world. There is no power stronger than love. Also adapt luxury as a lifestyle. Luxury is our natural state. Adopting luxury as a lifestyle sets the preamble, the preconditions for the flow of wealth. M. M stands for making money for others and helping others make money. Helping others make money and helping other people to fulfill their desires is a sure way to ensure you'll make money for yourself as well as more easily fulfill your own dreams. M also stands for motivate. The best way to motivate other people to help you fulfill your goals is to help them fulfill their goals. N. N stands for saying no to negativity. My friend Wayne Dyer, the famous author, taught me a simple technique for this. Whenever he has a negative thought, he silently says to himself, "Next," and moves on. Saying no to negativity also means not being around negative people. Negative people deplete your energy. Surround yourself with love and nourishment and do not allow the creation of negativity in your environment. O. O stands for the fact that life is the coexistence of all opposite values. Joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, up and down, hot and cold, here and there, light and darkness, birth and death. All experience is by contrast, and one would be meaningless without the other. A wise seer once said, "A man born blind from birth will never know the meaning of darkness because he has never experienced light." When there is a quiet reconciliation, an acceptance in our awareness of this lively coexistence of all opposite values, then automatically we become more and more non-judgmental. The victor and the vanquished are seen as two poles of the same being. Non-judgment leads to quietening of the internal dialogue, and this opens the doorway to creativity. O also stands for opportunity and open and honest communication. Every contact with every human being is an opportunity for growth and the fulfillment of desire. One has only to be alert to the opportunities through increased awareness. Open and honest communication opens the channels to realize those opportunities. P. P stands for purpose in life and for pure potentiality. We are here to fulfill a purpose. It is up to us to find out what that purpose is. When we know our purpose, then the knowledge of one's purpose leads to the insight that we are true potentiality. We must be able to state our purpose in very simple terms. For example, my purpose in life is to heal, to make everyone I come into contact with happy, and to create peace. Knowing our purpose opens the doorway to the field of pure potentiality, because inherent in our desire are the seeds and mechanics for its fulfillment. The Vedic seer states, "I am the immeasurable potential of all that was, is, and will be, and my desires are like seeds left in the ground. They wait for the right season and then spontaneously manifest into beautiful flowers and mighty trees, into enchanted gardens and majestic forests." Q. Q is to question dogma, question ideology, question outside authority. It is only by questioning what people take for granted, what people hold to be true, that we can break through the hypnosis of social conditioning. R. R stands for the fact that receiving is as necessary as giving. To graciously receive is an expression of the dignity of giving. Those who are unable to receive are actually incapable of giving. Giving and receiving are different aspects of the flow of energy in the universe. Giving and receiving do not have to be in the form of material things. To graciously receive a compliment or admiration or respect also implies the ability to be able to give these to others. An absence of respect, courtesy, manners, or admiration creates a state of poverty, irrespective of the amount of money you have in the bank. S. S stands for spending and service. Money is like blood. It must flow. Hoarding and holding on to it causes sludging. In order to grow, it must flow. Otherwise, it gets blocked, and like clotted blood, it can only cause damage. Money is life energy that we exchange and use as a result of the service we provide to the universe. And in order to keep it coming to us, we must keep it circulating. T. T stands for transcendence, timeless awareness, talent bank, and tithing. My personal experience is that without transcendence, life has no beauty. In order to live a full life, it is necessary to go beyond all boundaries. As the Sufi poet Rumi has said, "Out beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." I feel that my experience of transcendence through the practice of meditation gives me an inner stability and silence that is not overshadowed by any activity. That silence stays with me so that no outer experience can overshadow the awareness and experience of the self. T also stands for timeless awareness, as opposed to time-bound awareness. Time-bound awareness occurs when we relinquish the self for the self-image. The self-image is the social mask, the protective veneer behind which we hide. In time-bound awareness, our behavior is always influenced by the past and by anticipation and fear of the future. Time-bound awareness is burdened by guilt and sorrow. It is rooted in fear. It causes entropy, aging, and death. Timeless awareness is the awareness of the self. The Vedic seer says, "I do not worry about the past, and I am not fearful of the future, because my life is supremely concentrated in the present, and the right response comes to me, to every situation as it occurs." This is also the state of bliss. The self is not in the realm of thought. It's in the gap between our thoughts. The cosmic psyche whispers to us softly in the gap between our thoughts. This is also what we call intuition. Time-bound awareness is in the intellect. It calculates. Timeless awareness is in the heart. It feels. T also stands for talent bank. In order to maximize creativity and offer the best service, it is good to develop a talent bank or coterie of individuals with unique and diverse talents and abilities, and whose individual talents, when added together, are more than the sum of the parts. T also stands for tithing. Tithing means giving away a certain portion of your income without conditions or strings attached. When you give, a vacuum is created that attracts even more of what you have given away. As Emerson said, "Without a rich heart, wealth is an ugly beggar." U. U stands for understanding the unity behind all diversity. Unity consciousness is a state of enlightenment where we pierce the mask of illusion which creates separation and fragmentation. Behind the appearance of separation is one unified field of wholeness. Here the seer and the scenery are one. We experience unity consciousness when we are in love, when we are with nature gazing at the stars or walking on the beach, listening to music, dancing, reading poetry, praying, and in the silence of meditation. In unity consciousness, we slip through the barrier of time into the playground of eternity, as when we say, "The beauty of the mountain was breathtaking. Time stood still. Then you and the mountain became one." At a very deep level of awareness, we know that you and I and the mountain and everything else is the same being in different disguises. This is the state of love, not as a sentiment, but as the ultimate truth at the heart of all creation. V. V stands for values: truth, integrity, honesty, love, faith, devotion, and beauty. The great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore says, "When we feel beauty, we know it as truth." Without values, there is confusion and chaos. When values disintegrate, everything disintegrates. Health disintegrates, poverty attains dominance over affluence, societies and civilizations crumble. When we pay attention to these values that society has always held sacred, then order emerges out of chaos, and the field of pure potentiality inside us becomes all-powerful, creating anything it desires. W. W stands for wealth consciousness without worries. Wealth consciousness implies absence of money worries. Truly wealthy people never worry about losing their money because they know that wherever money comes from, there is an inexhaustible supply of it. Once, when we were discussing a world peace project with my teacher, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, somebody asked him, "Where is all the money going to come from?" And he replied without hesitation, "From wherever it is at the moment." X. X stands for expressing honest appreciation and thanks to all who help us. We must never pretend appreciation, but if we feel it, then we must express it. The expression of gratitude is a powerful force that generates even more of what we have already received. Y. Y stands for youthful vigor. We experience health when our identity of who we are comes from reference to the self. When we identify with objects, whether these are situations, circumstances, people, or things, then we relinquish our energy to the object of reference. As a result, we feel a lack of energy and vitality. When our identity comes from the self, then we keep our energy to ourselves. We feel energetic, we feel powerful, and we experience youthful vigor. Z. Z stands for zest of life. It is to appreciate life in all its vitality and exuberance. It is to know that there is only one life that expresses itself in myriad forms. To see that life is to know that power is in the present moment. It is to know that I am that you are that all this is that, and that's all there is. Tagore once said, "The same stream of life that runs through the world runs through my veins night and day, and dances in rhythmic measure. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth into numberless blades of grass and breaks in tumultuous waves of flowers. He calls this the life throb of ages, dancing in my blood this moment." To be in touch with this life throb of ages dancing in our blood this moment is to have zest for life. It is to face the unknown with carefreeness and freedom. The unknown is the field of all possibilities in every moment of the present, and this is freedom, beyond the known of past conditioning, beyond the prison of space, time, and causation. As Don Juan once said to Carlos Castaneda, "It does not matter what our specific fate is, as long as we face it with ultimate abandon. This is carefreeness. This is joy. This is freedom. This is zest for life." So there you are. These are the stepping stones to unlimited wealth, the A to Z of prosperity. Once again, you do not need to consciously cultivate a mood of these attributes. You only need to be aware of them. Listen to the list daily, and you will see your life change and become an expression of affluence, of unboundedness, abundance, infinity, and immortality. Create as much wealth as your heart desires. Fulfill every material and non-material desire. Create wealth and spend it. Spend it lavishly and then share it and give it to others. Give it to your children, to your family, to your relatives, to your friends, to society, and to the world. For wealth is of the universe, and it does not belong to us. We belong to it. We are privileged children, and the universe has chosen to share its bounty with us. We only have to give our attention to affluence, and it will be ours. Attention is all that counts. A great seer from India once said, "You are where your attention takes you." In fact, you are your attention. If your attention is fragmented, you are fragmented. When your attention is in the past, you are in the past. When your attention is in the present moment, you are in the presence of God, and God is present in you. Simply be aware of the present, of what you are doing. The presence of God is everywhere, and you only have to consciously embrace it with your attention. This abridged version of Creating Affluence, Wealth Consciousness in the Field of All Possibilities was written by Deepak Chopra. Thank you for listening, and may you be blessed with infinite affluence, abundance, and prosperity. Namaste.